You've probably felt it, that intense pull towards someone who seems to see straight into your soul. At first, it feels magnetic, almost fated. They admire your kindness, your ability to listen, your empathy. But what you don't realize in the beginning is that a narcissist isn't drawn to those qualities because they value them. They're drawn to them because they can use them. You give, they take. You understand, they exploit. And because you want to believe in people's potential, you overlook the red flags, convincing yourself they'll change if you just love them enough. This is why narcissists and empaths so often create the perfect storm. Your endless capacity to care meets their endless hunger to control. By the time you see the pattern, you've already been drained, doubting your own reality. And yet, understanding this dynamic is the first step toward breaking free from it and reclaiming the strength you didn't even know was being taken from you. Narcissists target empaths for their giving nature. Narcissists can spot an empath's giving nature almost instantly, and to them, it's like finding an unlimited power source. Your compassion, your ability to forgive, and your instinct to see the best in people make you stand out. But to a narcissist, those traits aren't admirable, they're exploitable. They know you'll listen without judgment, give without keeping score, and make excuses for their behavior because you can imagine the pain that might have caused it. They see your empathy as a doorway, and once they step through, they start taking more than they ever give back. What feels natural to you, being understanding, patient, and willing to help, becomes the very thing they use to hook you. And because you believe kindness can heal, you might not see their intentions clearly until they've already settled into your life. By the time you recognize the pattern, your generosity has been twisted into a tool for their control. The love bombing stage feels like a fairy tale. In the beginning, it feels like you've finally found someone who truly sees you. They shower you with attention, compliments, and constant messages, making you feel like you're the most important person in their world. Every text, every call, every grand gesture is designed to pull you in deeper. They mirror your values, your dreams, even your sense of humor, making it seem like you've met your perfect match. But this intensity isn't love, it's strategy. The goal isn't to build a healthy connection, it's to gain your trust quickly so you'll let your guard down. And because the rush of affection feels so real, you don't notice the hooks being set. You start believing this is what true love looks like, when in reality, it's the opening act of control. By the time the pace slows and their behavior changes, you're already emotionally invested, and that's exactly where they wanted you from the start. Your empathy becomes a tool for their control. A narcissist knows that your empathy is your most defining strength, and they also know it can be turned into a leash if they pull the right way. They notice how you try to understand people's pain, how you're quick to forgive when someone shows even the slightest vulnerability, and they use that to rewrite the rules of the relationship. When they cross a line, instead of owning it, they give you just enough of a sad story or a wounded look to make you question whether they really meant harm. You start rationalizing their actions, telling yourself they're struggling, stressed, or just not themselves right now. Over time, your natural urge to comfort and heal becomes the very thing that keeps you stuck. You stop holding them accountable because you're too busy justifying their behavior, and that's exactly how they maintain control, by making you believe that understanding them is more important than protecting yourself. You overlook red flags because you see potential. You've always been able to see the potential in people, and with a narcissist, that gift becomes a trap. You notice glimpses of who they could be, the moments of charm, the rare kindness, the promises they make when they sense they've pushed too far. Those moments keep you holding on because you believe if they can show it once, they can show it again. You tell yourself they just need patience, love, or understanding to become their best self. But while you're focused on their potential, you're ignoring their patterns. The apologies don't come with real change, and the good moments are only temporary breaks in the cycle. Deep down, you start to feel the imbalance, but hope convinces you to stay. This is exactly what keeps the toxic dynamic alive. You're investing in the person they could be, while they keep showing you exactly who they are. They create emotional dependency. A narcissist knows exactly how to keep you emotionally hooked, and they do it by creating a constant push and pull in the relationship. One moment, they're praising you, making you feel special, valued, and seen. The next, they're criticizing you, withdrawing affection, or subtly making you feel like you're not enough. This cycle of reward and punishment keeps you chasing those moments of approval, even when they become rare. You start working harder to get back to the good times, not realizing the good times were never meant to last. They were meant to keep you invested. Over time, you become dependent on their validation to feel secure, even as their criticism chips away at your self-worth. It's not love, it's conditioning. And the more they control when and how you feel good in the relationship, the harder it becomes to break free from their grip. Doubt your own reality. Gaslighting is one of the narcissist's most dangerous tools because it makes you question the one thing you should always be able to trust, your own mind. They'll deny things you know happened, twist your words until you doubt what you meant, or claim you're too sensitive when you react to something hurtful. Over time, these small manipulations chip away at your confidence in your own memory and judgment. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're overreacting or remembering things wrong. And that's exactly the point. The more you doubt your own perception, the easier it becomes for them to control the narrative. Instead of trusting your instincts, you begin relying on their version of events, even when it feels off. It's a slow erosion of self-trust, and by the time you recognize it for what it is, you've been conditioned to believe their truth over your own. That's how gaslighting traps you, by making you feel like you can't trust yourself to see clearly. Your energy gets drained while they grow stronger. Being with a narcissist feels like carrying the emotional weight of two people, except they're not carrying any of yours. You're the one listening to their problems, calming their insecurities, and finding ways to fix situations they create, all while your own needs are ignored. Every time you give, they take. And every time you try to set boundaries, they find a way to pull you back in. Over time, you notice you're constantly tired, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. That exhaustion isn't an accident. It's the result of being drained without ever being replenished. The more you pour into them, the stronger and more confident they seem, while you feel smaller and weaker. It's an uneven exchange that slowly erodes your sense of self. And because they've conditioned you to focus on them, you barely realize how much of yourself you've given away, until you're running on empty. Breaking the cycle requires seeing the pattern. Awareness is the first step toward detachment and healing. Breaking free from a narcissist starts with finally seeing the pattern for what it is. Until you recognize that their behavior follows a cycle, love bombing, devaluing, gaslighting, and pulling you back in, it's easy to believe each hurtful moment is just a misunderstanding, or that the good times mean things are improving. But when you step back and see the bigger picture, you realize none of it is random. Every shift in their behavior is part of maintaining control and keeping you invested. Awareness strips away the illusions they've built around you. It lets you stop taking their actions personally and start seeing them as tactics, not truths. That shift is powerful because once you can name the pattern, you can predict it. And when you can predict it, you can choose not to play into it. Awareness is the key that unlocks detachment, and detachment is where real healing begins. In the end, breaking free from a narcissist isn't just about leaving. It's about reclaiming your clarity, your energy, and your sense of self. Once you see the pattern, you can stop blaming yourself and start seeing their behavior for what it is. That shift is where your power begins to return. You're no longer playing their game. You're choosing yourself. And once you do, you realize you were always stronger than they wanted you to believe. So, if you're honest with yourself right now, do you recognize this pattern in someone you know?